so now let's talk about deposit. So a contract of deposit is when a person receives a thing from someone belonging to that someone, and the person receiving the thing has the obligation to safely keep such thing and to return that thing. So, yung kinaiba niya sa comodatum, kasi sa comodatum, pinapahiram, and then yung nanghihiram, pwede niyang gamitin yung thing. Sa deposit, yung purpose ng binibigyan ng possession nung thing na gustong i-deposit, bawal niyang gamitin yon. Yung only duty niya is to safeguard or safekeeping lang. Tapos, ibabalik niya. So, safekeeping talaga yung purpose ng deposit. So, it's a real contract because it's perfected when that thing na gustong safeguard or ipatago is delivered. It's also unilateral because the moment that the thing is delivered to the person that is asked to safekeep it or to safeguard it or to keep it, to possess it for safekeeping. Yung obligation nandun sa nagtatago, yung obligation na ibalik ito. So, it is the depositary, yung nagtatago, yung the one doing the safekeeping, that has an obligation. It becomes bilateral, however, if there is compensation. Alam niyo yung mga, warehouse, for example, kung saan, for example, meron kang mga items or mga things, tapos magbabayad ka ng space dun sa warehouse para itago dun, di ba? Or storage, di ba? May mga storage services. So, bilateral siya kasi merong compensation. There's compensation paid by the depositor to the depositary, and the depositary also has certain obligations. So, usually meron yang stipulations ng obligations nila. It's also nominate because there's a specific name for it. It's a contract of deposit. It's principal because it is not dependent on any other contract. It can be informal because there's no required form for a contract of deposit. It can be gratuitous. It can be onerous. It's gratuitous if someone is safekeeping the thing, the object of the contract of deposit, without any compensation, but it can be for compensation. So, hindi ko na i-distinguish kung anong kinaiba ng deposit, sa comodatum, sa mutuum, because if you've seen the previous videos, then it's gonna be obvious. Comodatum, pinapahiram. Mutuum, pwede mong gamitin, and then ibabalik mo lang yung same kind and genus or quality, or it could be like a loan. But sa deposit, the obligation of the depositary is really to just keep it and not use it for himself. So, what are the kinds of deposit? We have judicial or sequestration deposit, extrajudicial, which could be voluntary deposit or necessary deposit. So, what is a judicial or sequestration deposit? It takes place when an attachment or seizure of property in litigation is ordered. So, it's possible na kunin na yung item or yung thing or yung subject of the litigation habang nasa trial, to make sure na andyan lang siya, hindi siya i-dispose of. Extrajudicial if outside of court process, of course. So, voluntary, that is if the delivery is made by the will of the depositor to the depositary kasi gusto niyang ipatago. Voluntarily, as the word itself implies. Necessary, because it is necessary naman if it's not by court order, However, the difference sa voluntary is hindi voluntary or at will ni depositor na ibigay kay depositary or ipatago. Pinapatago niya because of a legal obligation, or if there's a calamity, or for example, for travelers. Of course, if they will stay at a hotel or a motel or at an inn or any establishment for lodging, di ba may mga gamit sila, so they also have to deposit their things there. Or pwede rin like for common carriers, like for example, if you're gonna ride a plane, you have to check in your baggage, or diba, you have to deposit your items dun sa overhead bins if hand carry lang siya. If not, then ika-cargo mo talaga siya. So it's not because of a court order, but it's necessary that you deposit those things in order for you to ride the plane. So that's an example of a necessary deposit. Okay. So as a general rule, deposit is a gratuitous contract. However, as I said earlier, it can be for compensation. And if it's for compensation, there must be a contract to that effect, a stipulation. And that the depositary is actually engaged in the business of storing goods, such as warehouseman siya, or meron siyang storage facilities na pinapa-lease niya. Or, it could be any kind of business that involves safekeeping or safeguarding certain items. And another is if the property is saved from destruction without the knowledge of the owner. So kind of like a negosyorum gesture din, no? So in case two or more persons each believe that he is entitled to a thing deposited with a third person, the depositary shall deliver to the person to whom it belongs. The remedy of the depositary, if there's confusion kung sino, kasi pwedeng yung depositary, de-deposit na yung item na hindi sa kanya, kanino ibabalik? Of course, dun sa owner. If alam ng, the depositor, hindi siya yung may-ari, so, kanino ibabalik ng depositary? Dun ba sa nag-deposit na alam ng hindi may-ari, or dun sa owner? Of course, dun sa owner. And if there's confusion, then the depositary may file an action for interpleader to determine kung kanino niya talaga ibabalik. So the depositor need not be the owner of the thing deposited. Kasi pwede namang inutusan lang siya na ipa-deposit doon and things like that. The contract of deposit doesn't concern itself with ownership, because the moment that unlike sa sale na kailangan owner talaga yung mag-transfer ng ownership, kasi may transfer of ownership sa sale. The buyer acquires the rights of the seller, the owner, or the seller has to have authority from the owner. Sa deposit naman kasi, the obligation is to just safekeep it on the part of the depositary. So hindi kailangan ng transfer of ownership. That's why anyone can deposit anything. Pero in terms of like returning it, it has to be made to the person who owns it or dun sa authorized. The depositary cannot demand that the depositor prove his ownership of the thing deposited. A contract of deposit, again, has no form, as mentioned earlier. That's why it can be oral or it can be written. It doesn't have to be in written form unless na lang na, for example, engage in the business of storing goods, and syempre meron kayong mga stipulations doon, meron for compensation, so it's better that you do it in writing. But it doesn't have to be in writing. It can be oral and it is valid just the same. So what is the effect of incapacity of the depositary or depositor? So if the depositary is capacitated, he is subject to all the obligations of a depositary, whether depositor is capacitated or not. If the depositary is incapacitated, he does not incur the obligation of the depositary. However, may certain obligations siya. He's liable to return the thing deposited while still in his possession kasi dapat qualified siya. And pay the depositor the amount by which he may have benefited himself. So for example, it's for compensation, kailangan niyang ibalik. With a thing or its price subject to the right of any third person who acquired the thing in good faith, in which case the depositor may only bring an action against him for its recovery. A third person is considered to have acted in bad faith if he has actual knowledge of the incapacity of the depositary and if he has knowledge that the thing is a subject of the contract of deposit. Okay. So, obligations of a depositary. First, of course, simula pa lang, alam na natin, di ba? To keep the thing safely. That's one. Kasi safekeeping ngayon yung pinaka-essence ng deposit. So, the depositary is liable if the loss occurs through his fault or negligence. The loss of the thing while in his possession gives rise to this presumption of fault in his part. So, para siyang, meron siyang, parang res ipsa loquitur din diba? Pwede nating i-apply. Kasi, nasa sayo normally, hindi dapat mawawala yan. So, the presumption is you've been negligent as a depositary if nawala mo siya. Especially that the very purpose of the thing being given to you is for you to safely keep it. So, what is the degree of care required of depositaries? If the contract does not state the diligence, kasi by stipulation you can specify the degree of diligence required. So, kung wala naman nakastate, it's just the diligence of a good father of family. Hindi naman siya extraordinary diligence. But, for example, if you're a common carrier, of course, diba, if you're a common carrier, as discussed, for example, plane ka, you're also in charge of safekeeping the baggage or the cargo, the luggage of your passengers. Common carriers, extraordinary diligence yung degree of care na required sa kanila. So, iba-iba din naman. Pero, kung normal depositary ka lang naman and hindi naman required na extraordinary diligence by law, hindi ka bangko, hindi ka common carrier, then it's just diligence of a good father of a family unless otherwise stipulated. So, I've worked as a legal associate and I've learned that, anything that is not prohibited under the law is allowed. And lahat sa contracts, you can state talaga the terms and that will be the law between the parties as in. So, as long as it's not contrary to law, public morals, public policy. So, kahit may mga general rules tayo like this, for example, ito, like as a general rule, diligence of a good father of family lang required, you can always state otherwise if hindi naman siya prohibited under the law to state otherwise. So, yun yung susundin talaga. So, ang dami niyan. Basta sa civil law, ganun yung golden rule. So, exceptions, the required degree of care is extraordinary diligence when it is the depositary who voluntarily offered to keep the thing. If it is compensated, then extraordinary diligence. Deposit produces benefit to the depositary, and of course, again, if there is a stipulation to that effect. Another obligation of the depositary is to return the thing, of course. So, the thing must be returned to the depositor kasi parang hindi na mag-i-inquire yan si depositary kung siya talaga yung owner. His heirs and successors. Pero pag alam yung owner na magkaiba dun sa depositor at parang may irregularity, then ibabalik dun sa owner. If there are two or more persons, again, claiming to be entitled to a thing, can file an action for interpleader so that the parties having a claim over that thing deposited can interplead among themselves. the guardian or administrator of the person who made the deposit if the depositor is incapacitated, legal representative of the depositor. So, when should the return be made? Upon demand. Pwedeng may stipulation, di ba? Pwedeng may pinag-usapan din until when. Until when itatago ni depositor. So, kung may period, yun yung susundin. Pero, kapag kailangan na, like for example, early, hindi pwedeng i-retain ng depositary yung item or yung thing para lang ma-comply yung period. Kasi, dapat, upon demand ng depositor or ng owner of the thing, i-return. Kahit na, regardless of the fact na merong period na prior na pinag-usapan kung hanggang kailan isi-safe keep. Kasi, hindi naman gagamitin ni depositor. Dapat mabalik niya agad. Kasi pinapatago lang sa kanya. So, the period is actually for the benefit of the depositor. So, if the depositor wants the thing back, the thing deposited back, he should have it back. But there are exceptions. That is if the thing is judicially attached to the depositary's possession. And if merong judicial order na bawal muna i-release kay depositor. The deposit cannot be returned upon demand if the depositary has been notified of the opposition of a third party or third person to return. Kasi kailangan muna nila mag-interplead. Kasi ibabalik dapat sa owner, di ba? And the depositor could or could not be the owner. If the deposit is gratuitous, the depositary may return the thing deposited, notwithstanding that the period has been fixed. So, kung hindi naman for compensation, kasi kapag for compensation, syempre, may obligation si depositary to keep it talaga. And babayaran yan in consideration of the time that he has to keep the thing. Pero kung wala namang compensation, gratuitous lang, hindi ka pwedeng mag-impose sa depositary kasi burden din sa kanya na itago yung thing deposited. So, kahit may pinag-usapang period, pwede na ibalik na ni depositary kay depositor yung thing kapag ayaw na niyang i-safekeep. Ayaw na niyang maging depositary of the thing. If the deposit is for valuable consideration, period must be followed. Even if depositary suffers inconvenience as a consequence. Kasi, yun yung yun yung business na eh. Yun yung may obligation siya. Pero pag gratuitous, you cannot impose. So, you have to return, if you're a depositary, you have to return the thing, everything that was deposited, including its products, accessories, and accessions. If by force majeure or government order, the depositary loses the thing and receives money or another thing in its place, he shall deliver the sum or other thing to the depositor. So as to where to return, it depends on the agreement if there's an agreement. Again, stipulation. If wala namang stipulation at the place where it is deposited. So another obligation of the depositary is not to deposit the thing with the third person unless authorized by express stipulation. Why? Kasi sa'yo nga pinatago ng depositor kasi sa'yo siya may tiwala, di ba? So hindi mo pwedeng ipagkatiwala sa iba. The depositary is liable for loss under the following instances. He transfers the deposit with a third person without authority, although there is no negligence on his part, and third person. Okay, so what are the other obligations of a depositary? In case of an emergency, the depositary can implement some changes to the way he is safe keeping the thing. So, mas okay kapag merong consent ni depositor. Pero, if emergency situation na, whatever it takes to preserve the thing. Another obligation is if the thing deposited should earn interest, to collect such interest and the capital itself as they fall due, and to take steps to preserve the value and rights with regard to it. So, hindi mo ipoprotect yung thing lang mismo if may kasama siyang mga interests dyan. You also have to protect the attached interests in that principal thing that is being deposited. Another obligation is, of course, not to commingle things deposited unless stipulated na okay lang. Exception is if sobrang same kind and quality naman and kaya pa rin, for example, mga bigas, di ba? O naglagay ako dyan ng isang sako ng bigas. So, minix na lahat ng bigas. I don't know, for convenience siguro. So, I guess pwede kasi babalikan ka na naman ng isang sako pa rin. Unless otherwise stipulated, of course. So, if commingling is allowed, each depositor shall be entitled to each portion of the entire mass as the amount deposited by him bears to the whole. If the articles deposited belonging to him belonging to different depositors are not of the same kind and quality, it is the duty of the depositor to, of course, keep them separate or at least identifiable man lang. Just imagine, no, your laundry, nagpa-laundry ka, tapos pinaghalo-halo na dyan yung mga na walang proper system or hindi sila separate or hindi separate machine. So, mapapansin mo na lang if your laundry is returned, merong mga damit na hindi sa'yo and there are some items missing. So, ayaw natin ng commingling, di ba? So, the depositary has to have a system, at least to ensure that the thing or the things are returned to the depositor as they are and walang kulang. Wala rin namang dagdag kasi makukulangan naman yung iba, di ba? Another obligation is to not make use of the thing deposited unless authorized. Because again, this is not a comodatum. This is not mutuum. So, bawal gamitin. Tago lang talaga. Yun lang. Safekeeping lang talaga. So, exceptions are even without the express permission of the depositor where the preservation of the thing deposited requires its use. Again, for emergency purposes, kung kailangan talagang may gawin, kailangan gamitin, for example, it's a car. Babaha na eh. You have to move it. Diba? Mga ganon. So, you have to, kailangan mong pandarin yung car if you have the key so that you can move it. Diba? Mga ganyan, for practical purposes, for the preservation of the thing deposited. Hindi naman pwedeng parang maging pilosopo ka na, ay, hindi ko siya minove. Kaya siya nasira kasi bawal ko siyang galawin. Hindi naman ganon. Because the very purpose is safekeeping. So, if permission to use is given and the thing deposited is a non-consumable, the contract loses the character of a deposit and acquires that of a comodatum. That is if gagamitin for his own purposes if it is allowed. Nagiging comodatum siya. Pero kung hindi siya, kung for the protection of the thing, safekeeping pa rin yung principal purpose of the contract. Like, ginamit lang siya para hindi siya masira or para makaiwas sa danger, yung para hindi, to preserve the thing, then deposit pa rin siya. Pero pag inalaw yung paggamit ng bagay for the, hindi naman for the preservation of the thing, but for the benefit of the depositary, for example, then it converts the contract from a contract of deposit to a contract of comodatum. And the laws on comodatum would apply. If the thing deposited is money or other consumables, the permission to use it will result to the consumption and converts the contract to, just like the previous video lang to na discussion, mutuum. Nagiging mutuum siya or simple loan. So the things received on deposit do not prescribe. For the depositary cannot claim that ownership of the thing deposited was transferred to him. Walang acquisitive prescription na magaganap dito. It's just simply having custody over the thing deposited. That's it. To safely keep it. There's no transfer of ownership however long the time na naglapse na. Another obligation of the depositary is to be liable for loss through fortuitous event if such is stipulated. Or if he uses the thing without authority. Kasi diba, he's not allowed to use the thing as a general rule unless allowed by the depositor. If he delays the return as well upon demand, that could also make the depositary liable. If he allows others to use it, that defeats the purpose of safely keeping it, diba? Unless otherwise authorized. But in a deposit, you're just supposed to keep it. You're not allowed to use it. You're not allowed to let others use it. Another obligation of the depositary is to make sure that the thing, that when the deposited thing is delivered, it is closed and sealed. And to return the purpose bakit closed and sealed. Pero hindi naman stricto na kailangan closed and sealed. Yung pinaka-purpose lang naman ito is to return the thing deposited in the same condition as it was when it was deposited as much as possible. Of course, taking into consideration the natural wear and tear, mga ganyan. To pay for damages if in case may sira na hindi naman natural na pagkasira or dahil talaga sa kapabayaan. Diba? If kailangan naka-seal, if broken yung seal, then alanganin tayo dyan. Okay? Pwede din yung deposit kasi is confidential in character eh. So, the depositary may sometimes be required to keep the contents of the thing or the thing itself a secret. So, if for example, it's a box, it's a safety deposit box and the lock is broken, then the depositary may be held liable. Okay. Another obligation is to pay interest on sums converted to personal use. Bawal nga personal use, diba? Pero if ever na ginawa to ng depositary, which is a bad depositary at that, then he has also to pay the interest on sums converted. As if siya, para siyang umutang doon with interest. Of course, kung kasi he has no right to use it eh. No right to use it. So, for example, if the depositary being delayed or has used money without permission, kaya money yung subject of the deposit, shall be liable for interest as indemnification. So, the interest will run from the time he has applied the money to his own use. Bank deposits are not deposits actually. They are mutuum. They are loans. So, the depositor sa bank, if meron kang savings account for example, you're not a depositor, although they just term it as that. You're a creditor, and the bank is your debtor. Why? Because if it's a deposit, the bank will not be allowed to use the money. But what happens in the banking system, if you put in money sa bank, the bank will invest it. That's why nag-grow nga ng interest yung savings mo, diba? If you don't withdraw your funds sa bank, eventually it will earn interest. So they invest it. So di ko sure kung kasama sa bar syllabus yung banking law. Pero yun yung talagang turo sa amin sa banking law. We took it up sa law school. That yung depositors nga sa bangko are actually creditors. Pinapautang natin yung bangko by putting in by having a savings account, they're putting in money. That's why if you make a time deposit, yung matagal na hindi mo makukuha, meron para mga penalties if you withdraw early, merong mga rewards if you don't withdraw. Kasi ginagamit nila yan eh. They grow the money. They grow your money. Para kang nagiging investor doon. But, yung kinaiba dun sa, system sa bank is that, yes, it's like, the difference sa simple loan naman is, kapag ka kasi umutang, diba, kailangan ibalik, right? Sa bank kasi, they have that extraordinary obligation talaga to really return your money to you. When, at any time. So, for example, if hindi ka naman naka-time deposit, they have to, if you make a withdrawal, diba, the funds has to be available. You should be able to withdraw whatever is in your account. So, banks or institutions, they're capable to do that. Merong PDIC, merong BSP. So, regulated sila and protected din naman yung depositors because, yun nga, sa banking law, diba, if in case the bank goes bankrupt, you can still recover up to a certain amount though. Malas lang. I forgot kung magkano, no? I'm not sure kung magkano yung pwedeng i-recover. But you should, it's insured. Should be able to recover. But yeah, it's not a deposit. It's more of a mutuum. Another obligation of a depositary is to advise the true owner that the deposit has been made. Should he discover that iba pala yung may-ari sa depositor. So, kailangan niyang ibalik doon sa may-ari. Pag nakaw pa yun, di ba? Para siyang naging accessory sa crime. Pero kapag wala namang knowledge si depositary sa kung sino talaga yung owner, hindi niya na business na alamin to. Balik niya sa depositor. So, depositary's right of retention, the depositary may retain the thing in pledge until the full payment of what may be due him by reason of the deposit. If this is for compensation. So, pwede retain yung thing. See the difference sa comodatum? Sa comodatum kasi, kahit na, for example, may expenses siya for the preservation of the thing na utang pa si owner, or si lender, kailangan pa na ibalik yung thing, di ba? Pero si deposit, may lien si depositor sa thing. Meron siyang right to retention. Right of retention. So, what is the rule when an heir of the depositor sold the thing deposited? The depositor's heir, who in good faith may have sold the thing, which he did not know was deposited, shall only be bound to return the price he may have received or to assign his right of action against the buyer in case the price has not been paid to him. If the heir acts in bad faith, he is liable for damages. Naturally. So now let's go to the obligations of the depositor. That is to pay the expenses for the preservation if the deposit is gratuitous kasi hindi naman for compensation. So parang lugi naman, no? Hinasal mo na nga yung isang tao para itago yung thing mo. Binigyan mo pa ng obligasyon. Tapos siya pagbabayarin mo for the preservation of the thing. Napaka-unfair mo naman na tao kapag gaganon. So, dapat si depositor or owner of the thing, siya yung magbabayad ng expenses for the preservation of the thing. To pay for losses incurred by the depositary due to the character of the thing deposited. So, diba? Same reason, diba? Nagmamagandang loob na nga itong isa na itago for you yung isang item tapos mapapagastos pa siya. Exceptions are, at the time of the depositor is not aware of the dangerous character of the thing, the depositor was not expected to know the dangerous character of the thing, okay. Depositor notified the depositary of the same and the depositary was aware of it without advice from the depositor. So, as a general rule, the depositor shall reimburse the depositor for any loss. So now let's go to extinguishment of voluntary deposit. So same lang. Payment, performance, remission, condonation, rescission, annulment, prescription, merger, or confusion, novation, loss of the thing due, fulfillment of a resolutory condition. It's the same with other kinds of contracts or obligations. A deposit is also extinguished, of course, upon the loss or destruction of the thing deposited kasi wala na siyang isa-safekeep. Diba? Common sense lang naman. Ano pang deposit dyan? Wala na yung thing. In case of gratuitous deposit upon the death of either the depositor or the depositary. So deposit for compensation not extinguished by death of either party unless deposit is terminated by the heirs of the depositor. By the return of the thing by the depositary, that also extinguishes, of course, by conversion of a deposit to another. Like, for example, deposit siya, tapos inallow yung pag-use of the thing, naging comodatum or naging mutuum. So, yan. So, when is there a necessary deposit? Again, if may illegal obligation, na-discuss na natin. May calamity, okay, common carriers, hotels or inns. So, keepers of hotels or inns shall be responsible as depositaries for the deposit of the effects made by travelers. So, notice was given to them or to their employees of the effects brought by the guests, and the guests take the precautions which said hotel keepers or their substitutes advised by their relative to the by them relative to the care and vigilance of their effects. Okay, so discuss natin yan. Travelers, guests. When is a hotel keeper liable? If may loss or injury and it is caused by the employees of such hotel or such inn or such establishment that offers lodging, diba? Or kahit may thief or robber. Kasi, bakit liable yung hotel, for example, kung ninakaw? Kahit hindi naman empleyado nila yung nagnakaw, kahit hindi naman sila yung nagnakaw, some other criminal, some other person, a stranger, biktima lang din sila, ninakawan na yung hotel, ninakawan pa yung guests. Bakit din liable yung hotel? Kasi kapag hotel ka, kailangan mo mga safeguards ka para hindi ka manakawan given the nature of your business. Diba? Yung hindi ka lang liable is kapag talagang force majeure. Force majeure, diba? Calamities or acts of God or things that although foreseen cannot be avoided. Yun lang. May depende din sa character of the thing or the circumstances, diba? Possible na hindi pa rin liable kasi nga due to the nature of the thing deposited or the circumstances that surround a certain case. Okay. The hotel keeper cannot free himself from responsibility by posting notices. So, hindi insufficient. Diba may mga, may mga signs minsan na, of your belongings, ganyan. It doesn't negative their liability. Because hotel business or mga businesses and similar businesses, they're imbued with public interest. So, question. Do hotel keepers have a right to retention? Yes, kasi depositary din siya. And we already discussed kung ano yung obligations and rights ng depositary. So, what is a judicial deposit? A judicial deposit or sequestration takes place when an attachment or seizure of property in litigation is ordered by court order. Deposit is judicial because it's auxiliary to case pending in court. The purpose actually is to just maintain the status quo until the resolution of the case. So custodial legis, it occurs when a thing is shown to have been and is subject to the official custody of a judicial or executive officer in pursuance of the execution of a legal writ. So that's it for deposit. Yay, natapos yung deposit. The next, hindi ko na separate like what I did sa agency, no? Kasi nangyari, parang mode of extinguishment became very short na. The next topic would be guarantee, which is separate video. And guarantee, suretyship. Kasama to sa bar syllabus eh. Yeah. Grabe, madami to. And then, pledge and mortgage. The next one. And then, PPSA. Quasi-contracts and then LTD. Quasi-contracts, yun lang. Yung LTD pala sa ano to? Sa Civ 1 playlist. So, ayun. Happy Aral. Forgive me for the late, if the uploads are not fast enough. It's also I apologize beforehand. It's also very possible that I won't be able to upload everything, every single topic for every bar subject before the bar exam, because I also have to make my preparations, and again, making these videos also take time. So, ayun, forgive me. But what I'll do na lang, even after the bar, I'll try to upload videos just the same. That is to help anyone, including law students or those interested in learning about the law. Diba? Baka relevant pa naman yung mga pinag-uusapan natin dito, even in the years to come, unless something gets amended or revised. And yun, we'll just update if that happens. So I hope you're enjoying and learning from the videos I post, and God bless to all of us. Happy Aral. Bye.